Peace be with you, flower. Delight me and meditate more. Pray more, pray more. Be pliant so that I form you to my image. Fear only when you do not speak my language. Can you recognize now the voice of your master? Yes, my Lord, I can. Why? Because you're teaching me good things, and your language is love. He says, share then all these teachings with the others. All that you learn from me, share it together with your friends. Glorify me. Delight me and share my passion. On Fridays, enter into my wounds. Sacrifice more of your time for me. Live holy. That is a sample of what he has said. Today it's going to be things that are random. My Lord, most gracious, I beg you to come and cultivate my will that becomes your will, stripping it and transforming it to be nothing else but your divine will. Come and kill everything in me that offends you, so that by this clement gesture of yours, in the day of judgment, you would find me faultless and agreeable in your sight. Jesus, because you have died out of your exuberant love for me to give me life and happiness and be able to share your kingdom and your glory. Mark me as yours for eternity. It says, my priest, that's according to 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9, priesthood of all believers, not claiming that she is or was or will be ordained as a ministerial priest. That's not what it means. It means the priesthood of all believers. You're a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people secured by God, it says. Continue to place garlands of love on my head. Replace my thorned crown that this generation forces joyfully on my head and continues to drag me by force into new Gethsemanes. That would be going with the 30th of November 1998 message of TLIG. Now, there was a cross-reference to October 24th. I remember October 24th. Here's 1994 message. I'd get across that because it was referred to. So it says, my house in the west is being plundered. I asked them to assemble under Peter. This was a message of June 3rd, 1988. But they have not understood and are doing the contrary. Many from within that house are saying, why is it that we have to have a guide? Reference of May 16th, 1988 message, especially this guide. I had warned you that cardinals would turn against cardinals, bishops against bishops, and priests against priests. I selected Peter to feed and guard my lambs, but the spirit of rebellion, thriving now, has reached its peak of rebellion. This was the great tribulation I was warning you of. Reference from message of May 16th, 1988. My house in the west is being plundered, but the wind from the east will rise, and together with my breath will strip the plunderer. Many members of your nation object to my call of unity and have accustomed their steps to walk their own way. They call themselves rich, but then where are their riches? How is it you have become a degenerate vine? Can you say that you have not sinned? Is there a single place where you have not sinned? You, the friend of my saints, the child of my mother. Why have you become so obstinate? What are your endless ceremonies to me when you give me praise by lip service? Yes, you have kept my tradition, and this is why the sword will not come to you. Yet you put aside my two greatest commandments and do not follow them. Why do you separate tradition from commandment? Explanation. It means pay attention to those two commandments love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself as much as you pay attention to the tradition. Going back to his message, should you cover yourself with myrrh and incense, I should still detect the stain of your guilt. Open your mouth now and let me feed you so that you devour life. Do not say, we will go our own way. Come to me and acknowledge your guilt. And you, daughter, shout my message aloud and prophesy. Say, I know all about my house in the West Bank, near the river of life. And I know too who in this house remained loyal to me. Daughter, what do you see outside this house? She says, I see a lion prowling outside that house and eager to enter your house from a side window. And God says, yes, the lion left its lair. Daughter, a destructive spirit is roaming. Angel follows close on angel to warn you all and tell you that my city in the West Bank will be stormed by the ravager and with great violence, that is to oppose and contradict my law, my tradition, and my divinity. The whole country shall become a horror. Your holy ones, my messengers, and my prophets will be hindered to go on with their work. And over you will spread a heavy darkness, while the enemy, who is a scholar, will be banishing my perpetual sacrifice, thinking his acts go by unnoticed with his secret sins. My hand will descend upon him suddenly, destroying him altogether. This goes with Daniel 8:11 and Daniel 11:31 and Daniel 12:11. That night had been foretold in the scriptures. But he, together with the others, have put their oath in the beast's mouth joyfully, honoring only the beast for having given them its power. Woe to the worshippers of the beast! They will be moaning and bemoaning. Now, daughter, what do you see on the other side of the bank? My house of the east. She says, I don't see any city, and the land is sandy and flat as in a desert, but I also see a green shoot springing from this desert. God answers, listen and write. Glory will shine from the eastern bank. That's why I say to the house of the west, turn your eyes towards the east. Do not weep bitterly over the apostasy and the destruction of your house. Do not panic, for tomorrow you'll eat and drink together with my shoot from the eastern bank. My infinite spirit will bring you together. Have you not heard that the east and west will be one kingdom? Have you not heard that I shall settle for one date? Have you not heard that I shall settle for one date? Explanation. I understood that the Anointed One, Christ, was referring to all of his messages of unity, calling us all to unify the dates of Easter. This alone seems to settle him and satisfy his thirst for unity. The Anointed King promised us that if we unify the dates of Easter, he will do the rest. He says, I am going to reach out my hand and carve on a stick the words West Bank, House of Peter, and all those who are loyal to him. Then on another stick, I will carve East Bank, House of Paul, together with all those who are loyal to him. And when the members of the two houses will say, Lord, tell us what you mean now, I will say to them, I will take the stick on which I carved Paul's hand, name together with all those who are loyal to him, and put the stick of Peter, stone, and his loyal ones as one. I shall make one stick out of the two, and I shall hold them as one. I shall bind them together with my new name. This will be the bridge between the west and the east. My holy name will bind the bridge, so that you will exchange your possessions across this bridge. They will no longer practice alone, but together, and I shall reign over them all. What I have planned shall happen, and should men say to you, daughter, that these signs are not from me, tell them, do not fear. Have you not heard that he is the sanctuary, and the stumbling stone as well, the rock that can bring down the two houses, but raise them up again as one single house. This is what you will tell them, daughter. I, God, am with you. I shall inundate with my almighty spirit many more hearts. Come, I love you. Have my peace. This icon represents on the left side St. Peter and on the right side St. Paul. They are holding together like two pillars the church. Within it is the meal, the Holy Eucharist. In my vision, the river of life. Above them is Christ, the high priest and the head of the church. Now, okay, God, okay. Those who have taken, okay, Lord is starting in the middle of a message. Lord, corruption is penetrating in Russia now. That used to be the case. I will lower her eyes. Do not understand in which way, Lord. Will you lower her eyes? Very well, I will tell you then. By the brilliance of my majesty, then I will come and rest in her heart. I understood by purification, for when God reveals himself and shines the soul, the contrast of light within darkness is so great that the soul sees vividly its imperfections and suffers a lot. Lord, she still lives in the blackness of sin and anguish. He says, those who have taken the wrong turning will fall. I will destroy the luxurious forces with my fire, and the proud will be brought low. I intend to build my house, and I shall adopt her sons and daughters to honor me. Daughter of the king, do not be just stand there bewildered and uncomprehending. I tell you, your sister Russia will be the head spiritually of many nations and will glorify me in the end. Listen carefully and understand. Her shepherds will be gathering. Her shepherds will be gathering. While treaties will be breaking elsewhere, and while rebellion will be working its way elsewhere to abolish the perpetual sacrifice, Russia's shepherds will be gathering. Russia's shepherds will be gathering to restore my house, reverencing the perpetual sacrifice, worshiping and honoring me. When in the last days, nation after nation will decline and pervert itself for having erected the disastrous abomination in the holy place, Russia's shepherds will be gathering. Russia's shepherds will be gathering to sanctify her altars, while others, the apostates, will be reverencing a lifeless form, an invention of human skill, an unbreathing image. Russia's shepherds will be gathering. Russia's shepherds will be gathering, glorifying me, for I, God, will preserve her integrity. And while efforts very evilly are being spent elsewhere to shorten the days of my mouthpieces, since they are the hope of this world, Russia's shepherds will be gathering. Russia's shepherds will be gathering to protect my holy sacrifice. And I, for my part, will be setting my throne in her, and I will assemble all those who bear my name together for my glory. I will repair her broken altars, for many who live under my name will side up with her in the end, and her shepherds will, with one hand and one spirit, re-erect my tottering house. What had once been twisted will now be straightened, and I will adorn Russia with impressive vestments because of her zeal in me. I will place her shepherds at the head of innumerable nations. I have engraved her with the seal of consecration to offer me once more incense and an appeasing fragrance. This is why I will overwhelm her shepherds with miracles. Russia, my loyalty and my gentleness will sanctify you. Russia, my daughter, acknowledge me entirely. Acknowledge me entirely. Acknowledge me entirely, and I promise you on oath to exalt your descendants like stars and give them sacred vestments. Acknowledge me entirely. Acknowledge me entirely. Russia, and I will annihilate all your opponents. I will, if you acknowledge